Let me pipe up real quick. They told you you were too much, too loud, too passionate, too deep, too intense, too different, too emotional, too serious, too you. So what did you do? You shrunk. You softened your edges. You laughed at jokes that wasn't funny. You apologized for how big your spirit was, just so they wouldn't feel small. You made yourself small so people could stay comfortable. But comfort ain't connection, and silence ain't necessarily peace. Let me tell you something. That might sting a little. They didn't think you were too much. They just weren't enough to hold you. Your light burned their eyes, so they told you to dim it. Your voice shook their insecurities, so they told you to quiet down. You were never the problem. You were just a reminder that they ain't ready for what's real. You ever notice how the people who call you too much are always the one who benefit from your silence? They loved how deep you listened, but got scared when you started talking. They praised your loyalty, but hated your boundaries. They liked your softness until it turned to strength. Let me break it down for you. People want your energy as long as it don't challenge them. They want your love as long as you don't ask for any in return. They want your presence as long as you don't show up in your fullness. But you weren't built for half versions of love. You weren't born to be a background character in your own story. You started apologizing for your fire. Started hiding the parts of you that were sacred. Started second guessing your magic just to be more relatable. But you don't gotta be relatable. You just gotta be real. And real is bold. Real is messy. Real is loud when it needs to be. Real don't make itself smaller for people who refuse to grow. You're not too emotional. You just feel what others been taught to numb. You're not too driven. You just got tired of watching your potential rot. You're not too spiritual. You just heard God louder than they ever dared to listen. So let them misunderstand you. Let them call you extra. Let them roll their eyes while you rise. Because while they sitting around waiting on permission, you got a whole life to live. Listen, you don't owe anybody a watered down version of you. Not your friends, not your partner, not your mama, not your past, not your fear. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to break molds. So take up space. Speak with your chest. Feel everything. Stand on what you believe in, even if your knees are shaking. Be too much. Too honest. Too wild. Too healed. Too real. And yeah, it's gonna cost you. People will fall off. Doors might close. Some folks will say you changed. And they're right. You did change. You stopped begging for love and started giving it to yourself. You stopped performing. You stopped pretending. You started choosing peace over approval. And baby, that's growth. Here's the truth. Your too much is somebody else's answered prayer. Your passion is going to light somebody else's fire. Your depth going to free somebody drowning in shallow waters. Your authenticity is going to call your tribe home. But none of that keeps happening. None of that happens if you keep hiding. So if they tell you you're too deep, go deeper. If they say you talk too much, speak louder. If they say you love too hard, then love with your whole chest. Because one day, you're going to look back and you're going to realize you were never too much. You were just in the wrong rooms. Stop editing your spirit just to make people stay. If your light offends them, they're not your people. If your voice scares them, they're not your circle. If your growth intimidates them, let them stay small. You're not here to babysit egos. You're here to build a legacy. So from here on out, be too much. Be the storm. Be the voice. Be the one they remember. Be the truth in a room full of lies. Be the one that refused to shrink. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them leave. But whatever you do, don't ever go back to being quiet. Pipe up.